Hi everybody, Gerone Wright here again on my Geronification channel. Okay, and what you're looking at here is you're looking at some Japan artwork where it's referencing a UFO, which actually became very famous too, with these objects appearing as if they're, flying in from space, in the form of fiery balls and cylindrical objects and everything else. They're coming from space, and they're being associated and identified with UFOs. And I don't know if this represents 900 BC or whatever. I'm not very familiar with that number, so I'm thinking that it might be 900 BC. I don't know what Japan, how Japan actually marks its time there, but it's Japan 900, and it looks like it says Celesti Flamboyante or whatever. I don't know, whatever. I don't know if that what the writing is or whatever. I'm not even going to pretend that I do. My thing is that my genuine experience encounter, which led me to identifying these objects, I can see multi-dimensional objects, and as you can see on this flame here, I drew a face, and at the forefront of this face here, there's the mother of creation, the witch-like woman, who I dub as being at the center of everything that is being created. And next to her is the celestial serpent, as they are both seen arrive in our world from out of space, from their location that I've actually discovered to be in space, in our solar system, and you can see my other videos on that. Over here in this fiery mass, this object here reminds me of, because you see it in a lot of the Renaissance artists painting, it reminds me of like almost like a pocket watch. You know how you see that like a flowery design, and some like it's like this, the center is the seed, and then you have all of these little circular patterns coming off, like leaf petals coming off, and it goes all the way around. And you see that object in a lot of the Renaissance art, and I mean, to me, that's exactly what it pretty much represents. It's like it's like the flower of life. You know what I mean? The design pattern of it, and it's like the flower of life, letting you know that these seeds are being carried in, and there's alterations with the genetics of man actually taking place. And this is how we were created, and this is how genetic manipulation is continued on today, and this is how these interruptions actually happen. It's my position that these celestial objects from space that we describe as being meteorites, falling stars, and other such objects that actually breach the atmospheric layers of our planet is actually carrying bacteria and microbial life that actually comes into our planet and takes up breed and actually is taken and takes a hole in our bodies, and changes are being made. This is how I suggest that we actually arrived here. It's also my position that life forms from Mercury and from Venus are on our planet in a combination that actually calls for our creation. It only makes sense that that there was a life before Mercury was so close to the sun and overrun by the sun that it had water. It went through a metamorphic process like our planet is right now. That it was once a frozen mass of ice, and it went through a metamorphic process with the sun, just like our planet is now. It was a water world at one time, and as that planet started drying up, as our planet is drying up now, it's my position that life from Mercury jumped to Venus, and Venus went through the same exact metamorphic process to where as Mercury did, and it became a water world. It was a frozen mass, and it became a water world through the heating and radiation process of the sun. And now you have Mercury and Venus in unison of those genetics. It's a combined genetics, and as Mercury started drying up, those life forms jumped over to Earth, and the process is actually happening right now on our planet. I'm thinking that we are a byproduct of Mercury and Venus, and now Earth, all three in unison together. And look at what we are doing, people. We are now jumping over to our moon, and we're jumping over to Mars, which is my position that Mars is obviously the next planet in order and celestial order in our solar system to actually contain life forms. And those life forms would be life forms that are combined from that of Venus, Mercury, and now on Earth. And then those life forms would be on Mars. And as our planet is drying up, heading closer to the sun towards its destruction, then all three life forms from each one of those planets, which I'm describing as celestial eggs, nest, that they would turn around and be on Mars. And then you have 4 types of life, a Martian life on Mars. And then the process will continue on. They'll continue on, and the same thing will happen and the next planet in order. I mean, it's all in sequential order. And people, you know what? I actually described it in a video as being like on a rotisserie of what's happening in space and all. And is that picture up here? Yeah, I have that picture here. Here it is right here. I'm going to put this up for a minute. And the next planet will be Jupiter, actually. I didn't actually know. But let me put this up here just for 1 second for the sake of this video. And I'm going to take us back to Japan. Alright? It's my position that these life forms are jumping from here to there. We're here right now. And then together, all 3 combined are going to jump to here, which is next in order. Mars was not there. Had life forms in the past. That's BS, people. These life forms are coming from this direction as they are being. I explain this as being a rotisserie, and I describe this as chicken in this video. People, that is a wrong picture. The right picture for all of this is that, you know what this is happening here? These are all eggs. And you know what's happening? They're being incubated. They're carrying life forms. There's frozen life forms on them. They're going through an incubation process, and the sun is the incubator. Venus, Mercury, and Earth. Earth is now being incubated to the point to where the life forms are hatching off of it. These life forms are already done hatched from their eggs. Mercury done jumped to Venus. Venus done jumped to Earth, and we're all hatched right now. And look at what we're doing. We're jumping to Mars, which has yet to be hatched. As soon as the radiation of the sun has incubated it to the point where it's going to hatch, it'll hatch. The same thing with Jupiter, okay? And by that time, I know we won't be around. I think genetically we might be around. It depends on, because these people knew how to actually. What's going on now is a select few are taking and having their genetics preserved in a way to where that arrival to Mars is going to happen for them, because they knew what transpired here and there, okay? And it's just a select few, though. It's not everyone. You know what I mean? So it jumped to here, and then those will jump to here, and each way going along, these new life forms being created, the select few that knows about what's happening that took place here and here are actually leaving that knowledge of Earth behind, and then go to Mars and enjoy a whole new lifestyle like they did here. And then, as everybody is saying, well, sitting there in the dark about everything that happened, like we are on Earth right now, talking about all these disappearances and what's going on with life forms, and well, where did that civilization go? These people are enjoying the same control and power here that they're doing now under the guise of Christianity, royalty, and all of that. You know what I mean? Which they're doing on our planet right now. You know what I mean? So, alright, I'm going to take this down because it's not about this in this video. I think you got that picture. These celestial bodies, these celestial masses can be identified. Each one is showing you what is carried within the egg. As I showed you in my last identification of the celestial bodies that are supposed to be UFOs, chasing UFOs, and Christ, and the baptism of Christ by Gelder, that image, those videos up here, and the baby Giovanni with Madonna. All of these images could be identified, and I just did Jesus on the cross, and I don't know where that is, and but anyway, I just did Jesus on the cross, and another celestial body. Just did that, released that video yesterday, and now here I am in Japan, okay, with a Japan image, and I'm showing you. If you look at this image, Okay, you have one face there, the witch-like woman, right there. Then you have the celestial snake right by her. This image can be looked at and realized in its largest to smallest size. We can go. I can bring you here to her. That would be her left eye. If you look at her left eye, that watch, like I told you, that it looks like a pocket watch. That circular object that appears in many Renaissance artist paintings. This image can be realized from its largest state to its smallest state. You can see in her left eye. I mean, this is her left eye, right? Yeah, okay. Her left eye can be created and realized that this can be a chin coming off as a mouth. Her left eye can be realized as a mouth. This can be realized as a nose. This can be realized as a left eye. And this can be realized, no, as a right eye. Then this can be realized as a left eye. And it gives you the appearance of a serpent creature, as a reptilian-like creature. And these little objects, these little petals that would be on the face, would create the scaly-like reptilian face of my mother of creation right here. And this down here part would be her chin wrapped around, and the mouth would be right there, people. Look, mouth, nose, right eye, left eye, and this here gives the reptilian appearance. It lets you know what genetics are being sent in from the celestial body of space during a period of time. And now, let's take that. You see her face there. It goes, where are we at here? The face is larger than life, right there. And then it goes down and it shows you what face is actually transcending from space. You see that, people, right there? These celestial bodies are intervening with our world. And then it shows you what happened. Now, look. I drew a face out here. One of her faces there. One of her many faces. Okay, now showing that there's genetics already here that's being greeted. I know what all of this means, people. I'm not going to go into detail. But look, I didn't highlight none of these. Look at all of her faces shown transcending down through the wing of this man with the this man with the bird wings on his back. It's showing you that there was a genetic bridging, and it lets you know which genetics were actually being bridged. Now, this being in the case has these wings on his back. Now you're saying, well, and it's another man. It's a larger picture. You can Google the image yourself. Now you're saying, well, Jerome, what do this mean? Look at her faces now. There's one, there's two. It's her many faces. There's three. Look, there's a full one here. Four. I'm at the eye. There's a nose. There's a mouth. And then look, this face right here is in the forehead. The chin of this face is in the it creates the forehead of the other face. And the mouth of this face up here creates the eye of the face that is below. There's the nose, there's the mouth, there's the chin, and this is what's happening. These faces, people, are morphing each other, letting you see the flow and the transitioning of genetics that are actually taken in. So what's happening here with this wing? Okay, on the back of this person, you can see the foot there. I'm not gonna. Well, I guess I can take the picture down some. Oh no, it's not. I actually enlarge it to the point where you can't see the man over here. People, what do this mean right here? Okay, that man has a wing. That man is an angel. No, it does not mean that. This wing, this whole symbolization here. What this wing represents, I keep telling you. Remember when I told you about the dogs in Renaissance paintings? That dog doesn't represent a current placement in time. That dog represents, when you see that dog, it represents the ancient genetics of that dog, the behemoth, the mythical behemoths, the stories of that and the Levitron. The same thing with this wing, this bird wing. You know what this is a representation of? Not the present, but the very, very ancient past. This represents an evolution of a creature that represents that of the dinosaur. The bird that evolved from the dinosaur. That's what this is all representing, people. And it shows you the transitioning of an ancient time with these genetics, which calls for everything that you are seeing pictured. And it's showing you how these genetics are being taken from space and being controlled and in a fashion of being manipulated from space onto our planet. And there's a select few that knows all about what is happening, people. These celestial objects that are shown in space, this is not nothing that, this is shown how there's interventions. You know what I mean? If you want to call them aliens, yeah, because these are controlled celestial bodies that come into our world. But we all know the ugliness behind objects that pierce. There's nothing holy and there's nothing sacred about these objects, these fiery balls, piercing the atmospheric layerings of our planet's airspace. That means death and destruction for those that are below, because we know about the sonic booms, we know about the calamities that come, the interference of the elements of our world. When these objects come flying in, people, you know what happens. I don't have to explain on it. You know what I mean? The reverberations of it. I mean, the earthquakes, the weather change. I mean, people, it's death for those that are below. There is nothing that is nice about this scenario. And what is sad about all of this is that people have glorified this as being a glorious and holy moment. And you know what I mean? And this stuff is crazy. I can tell you that right now. And there's a major problem with all of this, because there are records. People know that based on this happening before in the past and through the current, these objects coming in, like these dated times, these approximated dated times, they actually tell you when this can be expected to happen again, based on celestial alignments, based on their studies on when this is possibly can happen again. Like, let's say, like every 6,000 or 7,000 years, this is supposed to take place. These interventions, based on an alignment with maybe the Orion Nebula or the Carina Nebula. There are records, people, that this stuff actually taking place, and that's why you see in a lot of these Renaissance artists painting these blue balls when they're in the or Jesus in the and paintings, and you see that these balls they're up there standing with these balls, like if they're about to drop them. You see that in a lot of Christianity Renaissance paintings, where they're standing in clouds and got these balls in either hand, like if they're about to drop them from space. You know what I mean? They're in the clouds and they got these balls like they're dropping them. These are these seeds that they're talking about, people. And they create a holy picture. They create a holy picture for you to actually think that that's going to, I mean, this is going to be your savior. People, I mean, this is crazy. You know what I mean? You have to go within your own mind and you have to reason with yourself and look at what is being said here. This is not a pretty picture of it. This is not a pretty picture. In Christianity and in ancient Renaissance art, this is more glorified than a pretty picture. You know what it is? These wings would be up here on an angel, and they show you people down here and show you an intervention in that sort, showing you that these wings, these would be on an angel and on a pretty child, and they make it look like I mean, it's a holy moment, and these angels are coming flying down, and they're making contact with our worldly presence and all. Where in this picture, it's showing you the real deal. It's showing you that fiery ball coming down. You show you this person running for their life, and it shows you that when that fiery ball strikes, it's going to be a genetic change. It's an intervention, and the life forms that are here now, based on those that were created through our ancient dinosaur, will be on the run. It's going to be an intervention. It's going to be destroyed. Now, what always kills me with this is just like with the art with what is that, in the Lost Book of Nostradamus. They always show you that they know which location that that's going to hit in. And it shows you that these are the people over here that are in trouble. And the people that appear holy, I can back that off. Now I'm going to show you a familiar thing with this. And the people over here are protected. Look at this, like the holy-like people are protected. The monk-like people are protected. This is a familiar scenario, people. Let me take you to a familiar scenario with that. And I don't have that up right here. Do I have my my thing out here? Oh, I do have it. Let me do the Lost Book of Nostradamus right quick. Do I have that there? I'm going to show you a familiar scenario with that. On how it always seems like there's only, when those fiery balls appear in our airspace, they only hit a certain location where there's other people that's actually protected. I hope that I can find that, because The Lost Book of Nostradamus actually has it. And I hope that I have it. Where the Pope is standing out. Oh gosh, I don't know if I have that, people. And if I do, it would be nice. If I do, it would be nice. I'm looking for it. Bear with me. Bear with me. Yeah, I think I do. I do have it here. Here, look at this scenario right there. And I'm going to show you something. What I equate that with. I equate that with this image here from the Lost Book of Nostradamus, where you have these objects flying in, and it's showing you that. Oh, hold on, where we at here? Where we at? Where we at? Okay, showing you this angel, supposedly angel flying in on this cloud mass, which I equate with being equivalent to that of a meteorite or a meteor flying in. Shows you the direction that it's coming in. Showed you that the Pope has the keys and the knowledge to actually know that this is happening. You see the sound of the trumpet in this angel's mouth, meaning alert, alert. There's trouble in this, and it's flying over the location of the Pope. And it's in my mind. Look, they showed you there's a life here. Okay, with one line on this end, and it shows you that this object is flying, and it shows where it's going to strike on this side right here, and the Pope's staff is coming down and showing you that this is what's going to be wiped out. It's the same thing that is being said, and that's the Lost Book of Nostradamus, people. The same thing that's being said here. Look at this monk-like character, this clergy-like character, here with his staff, watching as this fiery ball comes down and hit a location on life forms that is opposite that of where these guys over here are situated. Oh, hold on. Are situated. There's another one there. Are situated. I mean, people, what is there to reason with that? I mean, what kind of reasoning is that? It's the same message that is being said. It's stating that, and even if they didn't sugarcoat this to look like angels, people, you know damn well that no angels is going to fly through our masses. I mean, our atmospherical areas. Okay, and I don't care in the form of spirits or whatever you want to say. You know damn well nothing's going to fly through there like that, and without causing some kind of havoc on life forms below. The only way they're coming in, and they're showing you in those ancient objects, in those ancient UFOs, they show you that they are celestial masses. People, what happened when celestial masses enter our world? They have to be in a solid form. So that means that these are space rocks, eggs that are piercing our atmospheric layers. What happens, people? Death happens. And in Japan right here, they're showing you in a clear-cut, dry thing what happens. These objects fly on our planet, coming at a certain degree angle, and life where they strike at is being destroyed. And then it shows you what they're carrying, what this is carrying, and what is actually to be expected. These people over here have the knowledge and understanding of it all, and they're clear, they're safe, because it's like, you know, it's like a it reminds me of like something, like if you're knowing that a crash is going to take place and you're standing on the ground, like it's me and you standing on the ground, and I know that at 2 o'clock this airplane is going to be landing on which airstrip it's going to land on, okay? And I'm not telling you though where it's going to land at, and there's 2 airplane strips there, and the one that I'm standing on, I know for a fact that that airplane is not going to land there. That Boeing 727 is not going to land there. It's actually going to land on the strip that you're landing at. I mean, that you're at. But I'm not telling you that it's going to land there, because you are out there, you and your family, you're barbecuing. Or you and your family are attending a concert right there. You see what I'm saying, people? This is the kind of message that's actually being going on. And this is what you're believing in. You see what I'm saying? So, that airplane comes in, sure enough, at 2 o'clock and lands there. Excuse me, and your barbecue and your family and all of that stuff there is wiped completely off the map, because that plane that just smashed and destroyed all of you, because I didn't tell you. Or you and all those thousands of concert goers are just got mowed over and plowed over, because that 727 landed on top of y'all and I didn't say anything. And here I'm over here on the opposite airport strip landing, and I'm looking at all of it occur. This is what's happening, people. This is what's happening. This is why you are being held in the dark and the secret about all of this. Now, why are they doing this to us? Because you know why? They're thinking that it's justified for the death and the destruction and resurrection of new life to be created. That's what this is all about. They're saying that it's okay, not giving you the choice. They're playing God and letting you believe, and that's what these messages are saying to you. Letting you believe that it's okay, that everything is going to be okay. Because through God, new life is being created and the old is being taken away. That's okay. People, I have a major problem with that. That's not no kind of God or nothing that I want to serve. You know what I mean? That's not nothing, a person that demands worship of me. That's not my idea of all of that. I mean, there's no justification. Morally, I can't accept that. People, you don't know what you're being served up. You know what I mean? And this is just a lost book, a lost book of Nostradamus. But through all of those pages, everything that I'm showing you here, that lost book is telling you as well too. And not just that, many Renaissance artists are saying the same thing. You know what I mean? And I can't keep stressing their names enough. Rembrandt, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, all of them, people, Bernini, all of these statues, all of these creations are saying the same exact thing, that there are how we were created. There were genetic manipulations, there are genetic bridgings, and there's interventions from space that periodically occur where other life forms are sent into our planet in the forms of seeds, and they land our world in certain locations, and it's sure and certain that the inhabitants of those locations where these celestial masses or meteorites from space are going to land our planet, there's going to be death. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel, and everything that I'm saying to you makes sense. You never heard none of this before, but it makes sense. You know why it makes sense? Because I cannot miss with this, because through my paranormal experience and encounter, the truth has been shown to me, been revealed to me. Look at all of the faces when you Google this image going out through this wing. And the reason why you could never make them out before, because if it was just one face, through our vision that we have now, you can make out one face. But through these multi-dimensional images, people, that they actually, this encryption style, which is not really an encryption style at all. You know how this was adopted? And I can take you back from the beginning, and you never heard this before. Now, and this is what's going to kill you on this. It's because through our reptilian ancestors, this is the way that they seen things in the norm, through multi-dimensional imagery, almost like that of the way you could imagine a fly looking through its eye and seeing 30 of you or 30 of me. That's the way that this all became adopted in the first place, because our ancestors had this vision through this, that multi-dimensional vision in the first place, looking at you through the sense of in a reptilian sense. Or these other creatures that we evolved through, like the descendants of lions, and the ancient ancestors of lions, dogs. All of this stuff, people, is what was genetically intervened and bridged with us at one point or another, and it's all referenced in artwork. It shows you at what points in time that this all happened. You know what I mean? This is all not by accident or coincidence. This is how we have these different likenesses in our world. Look at these faces, people. Chin, mouth. Look at the nose there. Look at the eye. Look at these faces. From their in the background, and then you can see them blending in with the actual image in itself. Look at these faces, people. Google the image and look at them. Now that I'm showing you, showing you going in all different directions, showing you how genetically there was an intervention, and it's showing you, and it shows that you'll see these faces lead right on up to the head of the man, and you'll see her likeness up here, and that reptilian likeness right there. You'll see that eventually taking on the image of the man that is actually running, and it shows you actually what's going on. I can read this whole entire image based on what is here, and it shows you the direction of these genetics. Once they came in, and it's showing you almost like this being a hypodermic needle. and it was injected here, and it shows you, watch the blood go, and watch as the mutations were created and going in a direction. That's what that, I mean, there's no simpler way to put it than just that there. Showing you that these people have the knowledge. If these people have the knowledge, then there are records. They know. You need to start making demands, people. And this is global. This is global. I'm going to get going. You're watching my Geronification channel. This is another a UFO object that's identified. It happens to be in Japan. I've been beating up on Renaissance artists here in the U.S. and abroad and Italy and everything else. So I figured I'll go to Japan. I mean, you can do this with Germany. You can do this with anywhere globally. In China, it's all the same thing. Everything is all the same. It's all referencing the same. I don't care what language it's in or whatever it is. These celestial objects have the mother of creation, and it has these reptilians, they have the whales. It's all the same exact thing, because we all evolved from the same creatures. I know what they are, I know the genetic path, and I can tell you how each civilization or each civilization on each continent, I can tell you how you were created based on your own ancient artwork in your area, or based on the original artwork that's actually either with the Vatican or been done by Da Vinci or Michelangelo. I can show you which creatures are, like at Angkor Wat, I can show you which creatures it was used to genetically bridge you to give you the likeness of whom you are today. How come I'm able to do that, but through all our ancient history, no one else has ever said this to you? How come I can tell you that I know where apes were created from, how apes arrived on our world? How come I'm telling you that there was we had not only the ape as we know it, but we also had an ancestral reptilian ape? How come this is not nowhere in ancient texts or in writings that we know? And I can show you where it's all at. The evidences of it is at. Like I did with you in Nervi Hall in the Vatican. With Nervi Hall in that image. Done by that sculpting by Fazzini. How come, I mean, all of these people, our ancestral faces are present. How come this information wasn't given to us? You know why? Because you're supposed to be in the dark about all of this. There's an uglier side to reality, and they don't want you to know it. So what do? They feed you nonsense. Not so much as lies, but they didn't feed you the truth. So if you're not getting the truth, wouldn't that constitute a lie? People, I mean, this is stupid. You know what I mean? And what's being affected here is not just you, but your children, the future of your children. I mean, all future generations. And I mean, it's just crazy. You know what I mean? I've never seen anything as so despicable than this stuff here, with this genetic bridging and this genetic altering, all under the guise of religion. Taking something that you believe in and then twisted it so to the point that where, I mean, I'm seeing a giant face here of a, as I'm saying, and this what you call me. It looks like an eye, almost look like a dinosaur right up in there. Probably is, and this is the bottom lip, this is the top lip, there's a nostril, eye, all in the face. People, these multi-dimensional faces are on there, and it even looks like the teeth there. But these multi-dimensional faces are all in this. And when you see this art, and if it's famous, these multi-dimensional faces can be realized, people. And that's just what that looked like there, too. You know what I mean? I'm telling you that you have to get into this, and you have to look at this, take a more closer look at what is actually being referenced and being a message. And 9 times out of 10, how you can find these, how you can look at this artistry is that whatever's being commemorated as an historical moment in time is where these genetic bridgings and these genetic manipulations are recorded on a mass scale. Remember I told you, like with the if you Google the flight to Egypt, you will find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of paintings of that. You know why? Because it shows a historical moment in time where there was a contamination, genetic contamination on a mass scale of that of Egypt. Okay. What else is there? Oh, the baptism of Christ. That's a big deal. Look at that, because you know what it tells you? That those genes of Christ was genetically altered. It's a huge thing. Just keep looking at that, and you will see. And these Renaissance artist paintings, some are more obvious than the others. But the good thing about all of this is that if you know from the beginning of what actually occurred and what had taken place and what he's being altered with, like I've shown you with many and many and many of my drawings, then you will know how to follow how the artists use different let me get this across my encryption styles. Okay, so you will know, because it goes from being obvious to using penises and using other innuendos, sexual innuendos, and that type of thing, to they'll use color coding or use hand signs. You see what I'm saying? Or use objects, other objects like trees, like stones, or animals to make this message. But the thing about it is that I know from the beginning, before they were even able to do this artwork, and I could see it written on a stone, I could see it in stone, and I transcend from the beginning of time with this out through the end. So therefore, art today, which is in Hollywood, which is in creative designs, which is in Disney, which is everywhere. Fame. It seems like the more famous a industry is, or the success built on it's a success. The highest level of success, it always seems to have this stuff in it, people. And you can trace its roots back to that of this stuff here, called like pagan-like worship. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm telling you about. And this is why we have so much dissension here in our world, where there's so much divide, because it's all about these genes and these genetics. You know what I mean? And people, it's going to be a change, because I'm not going to let up. I'm not going to let up. I'm actually going to turn it up. Something's going to give. And at first I started out and I said to myself, I know I had a long uphill battle with this stuff, and I said, as long as I got one person in my corner, and then I said, first I said, as long as I believe in myself, it was okay. And then I started saying, you know what? It's actually lonely here being by myself, and this is when I first started. So I said, as long as I have one person. Then, as I kept fighting for this thing, it was maybe like 2 years into this thing, where maybe every once in a blue moon somebody messaged me privately and say, oh, Jerome, I understand what you're saying. Keep up the good work, man. I appreciate your commitment. That's how people started out messaging me. I appreciate your commitment to this. You know what I mean? I can tell that you have a passion for this. Just go ahead and follow your dream. But I already knew that I was going to be fighting this thing through. I was on a ride or die mission with this. Once I was taken up into space in broad daylight, in the middle afternoon, and the sun energy rating on my arm, and I'm standing up in wide awake, spiritually, looking back on our world, I knew then that I didn't care what nobody said. That was it. That was it for me. I said that I knew that this was ride or die. This is to the rest of my life. My whole life is this. This is it. I knew then that was a wrap for me. And since then, people, I have been able to do stuff like this. You know what I mean? And see things for what they truly are. And not just that. My gift is almost like 2-3-fold. It's like everything wrapped all up into one. Everything good. Not only do I can see things, but the understanding in the words, where before, like I told you, that I could pick up a Bible and like most people do, and not understand a damn thing in there. Now, people, I can pick it up and read it page for page because I understand it. I understand what they're saying. They're allowing you to, it's for those that know. This is probably why not our preachers of the day that are taking it and twisting the words and stuff around, but our ancient religious people can read the Bible. They'll know what it means, because you know what it's telling you? The transitioning or the passage of genetics, and it lets you know who was carrying which genetics where. That's why it sounds like almost to the point where it takes you to the point in the Bible where they're talking about sex and all of that, or they're talking about a kiss, or talking about, it actually crosses, in some areas it seems like there's a thin line between, are they talking about having sex, or is this just some type of like passionate expression or something? People, it tells you where these genetics are going, at which time they were going. It's a code. It's a genetic referencing. Not on You can take the pictures in the Bible and actually reference them together, and it's like dead on spot and let you know what's going on. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you right now that there's homosexuality, there's lesbians going on in there. I mean, there's bisexuality. I mean, this stuff is crazy because, and if you think about it, I'm only right because if I'm talking about genetic manipulation and genetic bridging, people, what other way back then was there to do it? Except for orally or through sexual acts. And this is why through Christianity you have all of this stuff now at these higher levels with these popes and these priests and stuff. I mean, messing with these kids at their pre-stages of their youthhood, you know what I mean, in their virgin state. This is why you have all of this going on. It's not because they didn't have no sex and they're horny as hell and they can't control themselves. It's because that through their cult-like practice and ritual of what's going on, this is why this is happening. You know what I mean? Most of you probably don't even know that. And I bring up Adolf Hitler again. That Adolf Hitler, not only was he on cocaine, but Adolf Hitler was having bull sperm injections. People, I mean, was he a madman? This man in my book was a genius. You know why? Because he knew about this. And he knew that he can genetically alter himself. And he knew how he could go about doing it. I can show you how man was created. I can probably show you how you can go about cures for things. You know what I mean? Just like my favorite is that the pig's heart not being compatible with ours. You can put a pig's heart in somebody. The pig's heart is just like ours, but it doesn't work. You know what I mean? It only works for a period of time before it dies out. Well, you know why? Because between man and pig, there's another mutation. That 9 times out of 10, that mutation would have worked. And these are things that can be created. There's a creation that was a mutation between pig and man. And I can tell you why pig's heart don't work in our body. I bet you nobody can ever can tell you that, but I can tell you why the pig heart doesn't work. But I do know that there's a mutation that came out of that, and between the pig and the ox, that would actually be a heart that would be suitable more, because it would be closer in an evolutionary period to that of mankind. You know. But anyway, I'm gonna go because I done got rambling on here, and I took this video in a place where I didn't want to take it, but I'm gonna leave it like that. But people, look here. You'll see our mutations. You'll see our genetic, that fiery egg coming in, piercing our atmosphere, coming in. And it's showing you that it's leaving not only a trail through our airspace, but it landed. And when it landed, it shows you that these genetics took off, and it shows you what was actually created. And that's what this is all about. You know what I mean? So, my name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. You can also see me on Alien UFOs, Dreams and Experiences. You can pick up on a lot of stuff there, because that's where I actually evolved at on my through my experience, paranormal experience and encounter. Everything that I'm telling you is genuine, and again, I have no end. I can go on and on and on and on and on and on, because people, this stuff doesn't have no end. Imagine all of these many thousands of years of the evolution of mankind, even types and creatures of mankind that you have never seen before, imagine. But some of them are in our myth, and right now Hollywood is playing them and becoming very famous for playing these movies to us and catering to us in the on the big screen. And a lot of this stuff is actually true, and actually is referencing that of us and what was going on with us. You know what I mean? It's very sad that all of this is. Look at this face right here. I'm gonna keep going. It's very sad that all of this is going. Look at this. Look at this face looking dead at us here. Look how these faces all run together. Look, eye, nose, mouth. In fact, it's the face of a lion. That's just what it is. I'm looking at it upside down, but it's the face of a lion. Look at this. Eye. There's the lion's nose coming down. Look at that there, the lion's mouth. And then it shows you that the wings create the mane of the lion on each side. Look at that. A morphing face of a lion right there. See that? It shows you people these genetics. And remember, in my other 2 UFO the UFO chasing the other UFO, so they say, the mother of creation in there. Remember I showed you the lion faces in both of those. You know what I mean? And I mean, it shows you people these genetics on what was going on. Look at this. Look at this. All through there, you can realize all of this stuff that is there. And now this is in Japan. Now I don't believe they have lions in Japan, do they? But yet this message shows you that there's genes actually being brought in and going from there. But this is the only, I mean, it didn't happen there. It actually shows you how these genetics actually travel to actually create them. And we all know where all life originated from. I guess we do, right? Alright, I'm going to get going. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. I'll catch you in my next video.